Legendary NWA rapper Eazy E passed away in 1995 from AIDS-induced pneumonia. He announced his diagnosis just a month earlier. He was only 30 years of age. This was at the peak of the AIDS epidemic, which saw quite a few high-profile AIDS-related deaths. Naturally, it has always been believed that he caught HIV from a previous partner. A rapper having multiple partners is nothing new, and back then, there wasn't as much knowledge as there is now about the condition, and about the best way to protect oneself. And there have been huge advances in the treatment for HIV, to the point where a person diagnosed with it can expect to have a reasonably normal life expectancy. But in the 90s, it wasn't uncommon to hear about celebrities dying from the disease, and of course regular people too. As the decades have passed, stories have come out casting doubt on Eazy E's death and how it came about. Perhaps it wasn't as clear-cut as people originally thought. Many theories have come out related to his diagnosis and cause of death. Eazy E was born Eric Lynn Wright in 1964. He was a rapper, producer, songwriter, and entrepreneur. He was instrumental in pioneering West Coast rap, in particular gangster rap. Prior to this, rap was more on the conscious side and was dominated by groups such as Public Enemy and rappers such as Rakim. They rapped more about political issues and social justice, but then gangster rap emerged with a more aggressive edge. Eazy E was born and raised in Compton, as was Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. They formed NWA in 1987. Their debut album, Straight Out of Compton, was released the following year. It went on to become one of the most iconic and influential albums of all time. The group split in 1991. They were plagued with rivalry and disputes. It was the battle of the egos, for sure. Various members left to work on solo projects. And Eazy E himself went on to have a successful solo career. But on March the 17th, 1995, he announced his diagnosis at a Hollywood news conference. He had only learned of his condition 2 weeks prior to the announcement. His attorney and friend spoke on his behalf, saying, "I'm not religious, but wrong or right, that's me. I'm not saying this because I'm looking for a soft cushion wherever I'm heading. I just feel I've got thousands of young fans who have to learn about what's real when it comes to AIDS. I've learned in the last week that this thing is real. It doesn't discriminate and it affects everyone." 4 years earlier, Lakers legend Magic Johnson had announced his HIV positive status and was forced to retire from basketball immediately. He only found out due to a routine checkup. He's still thriving today, proving that the disease is no longer a death sentence. And some people wonder why it couldn't have been the same for Eazy E. After all, he did have the money for the best treatment. In 1992, tennis champion Arthur Ashe revealed he had the disease. He wasn't going to announce it, but USA Today threatened to leak the story. He passed away a year later due to pneumonia as a complication of AIDS. So with Eazy E, it appears that his condition had already turned into full-blown AIDS before he had even become aware of it. Had he known earlier, while he was still HIV positive, perhaps he would have lived longer with the correct medication, similar to Magic Johnson today. Prior to Eazy E's announcement, there was huge rivalry between two of the biggest labels in West Coast rap. These were NWA's former label, Ruthless Records, and a newer label, Death Row Records. Death Row Records was founded by Suge Knight and Michael Harry O. Harris, who ran the label from prison while serving a 30-year sentence. He's out now, actually. Death Row wanted Dr. Dre to get on board and become their main artists. Death Row ended up signing many of the major names in hip-hop. That wouldn't have been possible without Dre. But Dre still had contractual obligations to fulfill with Ruthless. But Dre managed to get out of these obligations without losing millions of dollars. Not quite sure how he managed to do that, but somehow Suge's name came up. And something about a baseball bat. Well, according to Jerry Heller, former co-owner of Ruthless and Eazy E's manager, Suge threatened him with a baseball bat and lead pipes, allegedly. And this all played out in the courts. Ruthless sued Death Row for racketeering in 1993, but the case was thrown out. Eazy E married his longtime girlfriend and mother of his child, Tamika Woods, while he was practically on his deathbed at the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She was pregnant with their second child at the time. Both Tamika and Eazy E's children were all tested negative for HIV and AIDS. That is one of the main facts that do not add up for many. Eazy E admitted that he had led a promiscuous life and had impregnated 6 women. He said, "I had other women. Maybe success was too good for me." At his funeral, the Reverend urged caution and lessons to be learned, saying, "I know a little blackbird who sings, and his lyrics are, I want you to live. I want you to be careful. I want you to slow down." April the 7th was declared Eazy E Day in Compton. In light of other high-profile celebrities announcing they had HIV, many couldn't get their heads around how quickly Eazy E declined after making his announcement. 1 minute here, gone the next, despite looking relatively healthy prior to this. But according to HIV.gov, it's not unusual for HIV sufferers to not exhibit any symptoms and appear as any other healthy person. This is basically the incubation period, where the virus lives in a person's body without producing symptoms. Eventually, the person's immune system does weaken, to the point where they will begin producing symptoms. Weight loss and pneumonia are pretty typical. Eazy E did succumb to pneumonia, but his friends and family didn't notice a rapid change in his appearance or demeanour. Bone Thugs and Harmony had just signed to Ruthless at the time of Eazy E's diagnosis. They maintain that he was his usual self. Crazy Bones said, "Dude had full-blown AIDS and looked regular. He still had his weight, still cocky, still looking like a regular dude. It just came about all of a sudden. He was really built, like a little tank." On Snoop's debut album, Doggy Style, Dr. Dre and Daz Dillinger allude to Eazy E having HIV. On a skit, Daz says, "F those HIV mother effers." And Dre says, "Yo yo Daz, easy come, easy gunshot noise." And this album came out in '93, 2 years before Eazy E's big announcement. On one of the occasions, when Suge was released from prison, he went on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Jimmy decided to do the interview wearing a bulletproof vest. Suge appreciated the joke, but told Jimmy that shooting someone was no longer his preferred method.
Fresh out of jail, I'll come check you out, right?
Right.
Why the bulletproof vest?
Oh, it's not. Oh, no, that's just. It's the new style. You've been in the can for a while. This is what everybody. That's what all the talk show hosts are wearing.
This is a new thing, right?
Yeah.
See, if somebody gonna do something about it, see,
Right.
technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. So the kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So
Right.
they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they call, they get blood from somebody with AIDS,
Yeah.
and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that
death
seems
don't happen.
bad.
That's
Yeah.
a slow death.
Yeah. Yeah.
An Eazy E thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
Way to lighten the mood. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Suge's terror alert level just went from elevated to high.
The stunned silence from the audience. I don't think they believed he was joking. But Suge has been known to troll in the past. He once told TMZ that Tupac was alive and living in Cuba or something to that effect. Rapper BG Knockout, in his 2011 song In My Prime, lyrics include, "The way my big homie went out, he didn't deserve it. They say he died of AIDS, but Eazy was cold murdered. I filtered out all the BS with my third iris. Full-blown AIDS, but Tamika ain't got the virus." In an interview with Hip Hop DX, he said, "I believe in my heart that somebody did something to Eric. Whether it was Jerry, whether it was Tamika, I have yet to really know the truth about it. But for a person to have full-blown AIDS that quickly is suspicious. My little brother's father died from full-blown AIDS, from sharing a needle. Now, I've seen a man go through these stages, from HIV to full-blown AIDS. And when you get a cold, any little thing like that, your whole immune system shuts down. So you have to go into the hospital just to recover. Now, to be around Eric for the last 3 years of his life, and he never had an episode like this, never ever. Something is strange. Something is real odd. And then you're gonna come out and tell me, when the man goes in there for bronchitis, you're gonna come out and tell me the man has full-blown AIDS? And we done been to New York. We done been to Chicago in below zero weather, and he never got sick. He never had an episode. Like, come on, bruh. Who are you kidding?" And Lazy Bone told Angela Yee his theory. He said, "I have my own theory. He went in for the common cough or pneumonia, which was January. Then in February, diagnosed as HIV positive. Then March, full-blown AIDS, and dead. I was kind of thinking, what kind of doctors did he go to? Even Eazy E's kids that were born after he died weren't positive. Even their mothers weren't positive. Nobody was positive. I believe it's just like the mystery of who killed Tupac and who killed Biggie."
Yeah, I would, to those people that say that, first of all, that's just ignorant, because the only person that didn't gain from his passing away was me. Everybody else that was around gained from it. So I would say follow the money, you know? I'm the only person that didn't gain from it.
Yeah.
Because when he was sick in the hospital, that's when I left Ruthless, because I knew he wasn't coming out. Do I think that something fishy happened to Eazy? Absolutely. I don't believe for a second that someone that had as much money as we did and could afford, you know, whatever, like Magic Johnson could, and who doesn't even test positive anymore, you know, I don't believe that he could have possibly died that quickly from
that disease,
from full-blown AIDS. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it either
I think that something went on there, and like I say, I have my own ideas about who was involved, but all I'm willing to say is this: I'm the only one that didn't profit from his passing away.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you this because I think it was maybe a year or two. Suge Knight was on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel. And,
I saw that.
And he was joking around. He said, you know, they got this new thing, that Eazy thing. You know, he was talking about.
Well, what he said was, he was wearing Jimmy Kimmel was wearing a bulletproof vest, and Suge said, "Why are you wearing that vest?" And he said, "Well, you're Suge Knight." And Suge Knight said, "We don't do it that way anymore. We just inject you Eazy E style."
Yeah.
And nobody, I mean, that was on that. You can still see that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And nobody ever questioned that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the police just don't care because it was Eazy E and he was on the skinheads' 10 most wanted list, and you know, I guess they just didn't care, just like they don't care about Tupac and they don't care about Biggie.
The docuseries The Mysterious Death of Eazy E premiered August this year. It featured Eazy's daughter, Ebe, and her mother, Tracy. They investigate the mystery surrounding his death. In the first episode, Tracy says, "I've always believed that something else happened, and I'm afraid of what that might be. Something just did not seem right. He died unusually fast. He did not lose weight. He was not a drug abuser. It's like, one day he's fine, the next day, he's dying." There has never been a criminal investigation into the death of Eazy E, and many of the theories surrounding his death are opinions. There have been a lot of theories. Even hip-hop pioneer Frost believed that someone contaminated acupuncture needles and used them on Eazy E. A lot of the speculation and the theories seem to stem from how fast and quickly he declined after his announcement. But it wasn't necessarily him dying of AIDS within a couple of weeks. More than likely, it was that he didn't know that he was HIV positive until it was too late. But if this is the case, it's even more inexplicable that the virus was never passed on to his girlfriend or children, thankfully, or any of his other partners who he impregnated. That to me makes no sense. In 2018, approximately 1.2 million Americans were said to be living with HIV. Which of these theories do you believe carries some weight? The Suge theory? The acupuncture theory? Or was his death simply the result of having many partners and not protecting oneself? And could it be that he just wasn't aware that he had the virus until it was too late? Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. And don't forget to click the bell for more.